it if you hear me holler. Making moves another day, another dollar. On the grind, I'm living good. What you expect? Just another one hit and with it. You can say that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lawrence. It's Cashing in Dreams, and you're now tuned in to the Cashing in Dreams podcast. Boy, do I tell you today, do we have a show. The show today is going to be an amazing story. We have Mr. Byron, the investor, online with us today, and we're going to talk about his journey. This guy, when I did my research on him, he has so many letters behind his name: BSN, CCRN, RN, real estate investor, Byron Holman, also known as Byron the investor. We're going to bring him on, and then we're going to go from there. Bear me 1 second as I bring him in, guys.
Lawrence, what's good?
What's going on with
What's
you, man?
good?
Listen.
Oh, man. I'm good, man.
I had a little situation where I jumped on here at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard, and I realized you in H-Town. So
yes. It's different. That 6 o'clock. That 6 o'clock hit different down here. You know
look. But listen, I'm super excited. I'm super excited about you joining and tuning in with the Cashing in Dreams podcast. Hopefully we get the people that came. If not, we're going to still tell the story. Shout out to the replay gang that's going to tune in and watch and catch some of these jewels that you're going to be dropping here tonight. I know that when you do other interviews, a lot of people, what they do is they tap in and they go straight into what you're currently doing now, which is the wholesaling. The Cashing in Dreams podcast, what we typically base this around is your journey, right? From the beginning all the way to where you are right now, with the intentions to show people that this podcast could spark an idea that someone already is burying inside them to bring that to life. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Everybody who's on here, if you guys could just do me a favor and just share this with anywhere between 5 to 10 of your friends, I gladly would appreciate that. We're going to just jump into this. Byron, the investor, please tell the people of the Cashing in Dreams podcast a little bit about yourself.
Well, originally I started off nursing, right? And then, I always kind of had that entrepreneurial bug. So that was kind of like always, I never could get rid of that itch. You know what I mean? I've been in several businesses. I've succeeded in some. I've failed in some. I've done a little bit of everything. And that entrepreneurial bug just never left me alone. And I remember when I was, the way I kind of got into nursing was, I kind of got in a little trouble. I got to keep it real. You know what I mean? I caught a little case. It was a big drug case. And the judge was like, yo, I see you got potential. You know what I mean? And, she kind of showed love. And, and I just ended up going back to school. I had already had a degree in like biology, you know what I mean? And then, but I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to school, get this nursing degree. And ever since I did that, it was like the judge just kind of was just showing me more and more love. And I just was like, at first it was just kind of like a ploy to get out of trouble.
Right.
Keep it real. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I felt like I never really needed school to get money. I always got money since I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I went ahead and went back to school. And like I said, at first I was just doing something.
Right.
And then I ended up kind of sort of liking it a little bit more, and it became more of a challenge. And I actually finished, man. And by the time I was getting ready to get enrolled into the actual nursing program, that was when I had beat the case. Everything was cleared. I was just like, it was phenomenal that I beat the case, man. Because listen, I'm going to keep it real with you. I got locked up with half a brick.
Woo!
Hey, you feel me? You don't beat those cases unless
your
lawyer game is up or you telling on somebody.
How old were you?
Oh man, I was like what, 28-ish? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean?
You're supposed to be gone.
I was out of there. You get what I'm saying? I was gone. But
Wow.
The good news was, one thing for sure is that I did have money, right?
Right.
So I was able to pay for multiple lawyers. I paid for the guy that got locked up with me. Right. I paid for his lawyer. I paid for every, you know what I mean? Wow. And then I had a couple friends out, you know, on the outside that, you know, that I was, you know, doing business with. They pitched in. I had good friends. Everybody pitched in, man. So I had lawyer fees on top of lawyer fees.
Love it. I love it. And to be honest with you, when I was doing my research, Byron, I felt that this conversation or this interview was going to be a direct conversation, a transparent conversation. Doing my research with you, I could relate to a lot of the things that you went through by just looking through your timeline. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, I appreciate your transparency on this, if that's the word. And I wanna we're gonna dive into everything, right? We're gonna dive into everything. So I appreciate you guys. Listen, for the 7 people that's joined in, if you guys could just share this with anywhere between 5 to 10 of your friends, let's get this going. Shout out to the replay gang again. Byron, the investor, take me through your front door as a kid. What do you see, smell, and hear?
As a kid?
As a kid.
You know, man, honestly, I'm seeing, you know, if you ask my mom, you know, I was always, you know, I grew up in the hood, right? So I grew up in very, you know, yes indeed.
I'm sorry I can't get your pops in here. I'm not your dad.
yeah. It's all good. I grew up in the hood, but I grew up with great parents. Listen. And so despite the fact I grew up in, you know, my family, I ain't gonna lie, my dad sold dope. You know, my grandma, she sold dope, right? Wow. So I grew up very, very hood, right? But I grew up in a very solid family. You know what I mean? My parents, I rarely saw my parents ever argue. You know what I'm saying? My mom cooked all the time. She was a traditional woman, wise woman, right? My dad was very traditional. He played, you know, he was a musician, you know, good people, right? But, you know, we just grew up in the hood and had just, you know, but we had the core values, right, of the Brady Bunch. So when I say, when I looked at, I saw the hood, I saw a lot of poverty, right? I saw everything that's associated with that, right?
Right.
But honestly, on the inside of my home, man, it was sweet. You know what I mean? It was love. It was my mom would actually teach the other kids in the neighborhood, right?
Wow.
She was that parent that when, you know, because we was reading.
Wow.
My mom made sure we was heavy on education, right? So
I love it. When I saw this picture, one of the things that stood out to me, you said I grew, and you are saying exactly what the post read. The post read, I grew up in the hood. Thank God for some awesome parents. And growing up, my mom used to tell us, it's not about what's outside this house, wherever we was living at. It's about what's inside the house. And we came up in some of the in Atlanta. I'm originally from New York, but when we moved down here to Atlanta, we lived in some hoods. And but on the inside of the house, it never felt like the hood on the inside. But once you stepped outside to go play around with the kids and things of that nature, you was dead smack in the middle of the hood. So when I saw this picture, it kind of gave me the same resemblance that I saw in my household. This does not look like a hood upbringing. You understand what I'm saying? So I definitely wanted to bring that up and show you this. I mean, show the people that this is the family that you came from. Now, growing up on the east side of Atlanta, originally I'm from New York, right? But growing up on the east side of Atlanta, outside of the house, influences for me was the music and the OGs that had flashy cars and a fresh pair of Air Max. How was it for you growing up outside of that home in Houston, Texas? Talk to me.
Man, bro, you know, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like my role models growing up young was the D-boys, was the rappers, right? You know, and that's why I kind of gravitated to that lifestyle, right? But the good thing was that, you know, my dad, you know, after I would say maybe like when I got into my teenage years, they got heavy in the church, right? So they was straight laced by that time. But you know, those you can't escape everything. You know what I'm saying? Like even though they started preaching all of the good stuff in me, right? I still kind of had that, you know, that hustler's mentality. But the good thing was when I first started in high school, I was cutting hair. I was, you know, I had a couple little businesses that I started. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was kind of doing my own little hustle thing. So I was making money at around 12, 13. My own money. I ain't need no
handout.
I ain't need no handouts. I ain't need no lunch money from the mom.
Right.
I ain't need none of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was, you know, by high school, I was buying Versace shirts. You get what I'm saying? I was, I was that dude. You know what I mean? So, you get what I'm saying? And I was hustling any kind of way I could get it. You know what I mean? So, you know,
that's what's up. And it's funny that you bring this up because, and I'm gonna get to it. So, speaking of high school, you graduate from South Houston High School, right?
Yes.
What was the dream at this point in your life?
Man, okay, so I graduate, you know, South Houston. I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire by, you know, 23. You know what I mean? Like that was my mindset. I was wanting to get at that time we was getting heavy into music, different things of that nature, other little businesses. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My God. I was heavy into music, man, and I was trying to do that whole thing. I had a little song that ended up getting on the radio for a little while. And you know, it fizzled out. I got a big deal with Sony. That was a bust. So it was a lot of like, you know, I got $1 million deal actually. I got $1 million deal with Sony. And end up losing it because the guy that ended up getting it started, you know, that's just, I hate those music stories, man. Like it was, I hate those. So now, but all in all, it was like the music was kind of like my secondary path because it was always that part of me that didn't, it was like I wanted to make it in music, but I never wanted to make it in music because I didn't want to be the traditional black dude, right, who made it through basketball, through sports, through music or something like that and didn't make it in business. My core love was always business. Like I always wanted to be that guy who made it through business. And I don't even know if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It does.
I wanted that to be my legacy more than anything because I was like, yo, I feel like that to me is more attainable for the youth, right? I care about what my legacy looks like and I want other kids that look like me to feel like, you know, I don't have to just go this route. I can go the business route and do numbers.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
I definitely do. And that this is a great segue. I had quit my day job, my 9-to-5, last June. And what I jumped into was my focus was wholesaling, right? But I needed to be able to make some money, so I jumped into Uber, and that kind of went well together because I was out in the streets. I picked up this young boy. I'm not gonna say young boy, young man. He was about 18, probably 19, and I picked him up in the area that was completely dark. And what I mean by dark is you out there in the streets, you could attest to what I'm saying is the neighborhood that I picked them up in was boarded up, right? And it was dark, but not the whole neighborhood was boarded up, but majority of the neighborhood was boarded up, right? And I picked him up in the dark, and I dropped him off in complete darkness where the building that he was living in, everything else around him was boarded up. That was it. Wow. When he came outside, that's all he saw was just boards on houses and duplexes and apartments. That's all he saw. And when he gets in the car, Byron, I asked him, I said, yo, what's your dream, bro? That was the first question. And he had a tattoo. He had an A on his forehead. He had a teardrop right here. He looked like my son, right? But without all of these tattoos on him, right?
Yeah.
So he looked at me, he gave me a smile. He was like, I want to play football. And I said, man, it's never too late to play football, man. You could go to college, this, at the third. And then he tells me, he says, but OG, I'm 18 years old and I've been to prison 11 times. Right? And I say to him,
Wow.
I said, you've been to prison 11 times? He said, yeah. I said, okay, forget about the 10 times. Let's talk about that 11th time. He said, OG, I went to prison for stealing cars. I said, bro, you went to prison for stealing cars? I said, you went to prison for joyriding. He said, at first it was about joyriding. Then it became me stealing the cars and taking them to people to sell it to people, right? And he got caught. I said, I love your ambition, bro. He said, OG, I just told you that I went to prison for stealing cars. I said, yeah, good mindset, wrong vision, right? I said,
exactly.
You see this neighborhood that you living in? And I broke down to him wholesaling. Like right now, I'm getting goosebumps. The same mindset that you have on stealing a car and bringing the car to the plug is the same mindset that you can have with the wholesaling, and you don't have to go to jail. And you can have that dope boy money, because that's what you want,
Straight
right?
up. Exactly.
And we sat down and we talked for an hour. So I wanted to bring that up because, like you're saying, what you're doing is you are giving this youth some valuable information. It's up to them to want to take it, and because you've been there, you already know. So I commend you on wanting to assist the youth and giving back to the youth, man. Because when I had that conversation with him, the only thing that I could sell him was wholesaling, and he fell in love with it just like that. You see what I'm saying? And I hadn't even done a complete deal from A to Z, but I could sell it to you. You see what I'm saying? And I gave it to him, and I hope that God continues on with him. I try to stay in contact with him. I seen him on the Instagram back in the car, so I don't know what he's doing, but and that was the reason why I brought that up, because I heard that you say a life-changing situation is what puts you on the road of real estate, and this is what changed your life. And you spoke a little bit on that with the drug case. So once you beat this drug case, what nursing came into play? Why nursing?
Oh man, it was crazy, right? So at this time, right? I was hustling, but I couldn't hustle no more, right? Hustle no more, right? So I ended up getting a job, man, and my homeboy put me on. My homeboy actually is a cop. That's what's so crazy, right? But he put me on this job working as a psych tech in a psych hospital, right?
Right.
And like I would work with a lot of like Nigerian like nurses, right?
Right.
And they would be on me like heavy, like, yo, you need to go to nursing school, you need to get your nursing, degree.
Right.
I'm telling you, you need to get it, blah, 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 blah. And they would impart it heavy into me, right? And so I was like, you know what? This may not be a bad move. So whenever I kind of got caught up, right? This whole time I'm still working, because when I got hired, right, I was kind of still clean, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they didn't show up on my record yet, you know what I mean? But in that whole time, I was like, I was diligent at that job, because I knew that if I had lost that job, I wasn't gonna really be able to get nothing else.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because that was gonna show up on my record, right?
Right.
So I just, from that point, I feel like it was a life-changing experience for me, because I was at the first time vulnerable. You kind of had that youthful arrogance about yourself. You know what I mean? Especially when you've made money. You know what I'm saying? And you've always made money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like you have a youthful arrogance. So that case humbled me. It humbled me all the way to my core, and it made me recognize and realize the importance of gratitude, the importance of people. You know what I'm saying? The importance of just my life in general. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was like, man, that was like shock therapy for me.
Right. Wow.
It was shock therapy, because it changed everything in my life.
I know that's right. You said you was out of your teens. You was about 28, almost 30 years old at this point. And Byron the investor would not have been Byron the investor if the doors closed.
Man, I would be gone, man. I was looking at 30 years to life, man. Minimum.
Wow.
Yeah.
To God be the glory.
No doubt.
To God be the glory. Now, fast forward, we're gonna get into wholesaling. I myself was into music. I didn't get the big deal. I had some independent record labels that signed me, but it really didn't take off. And I thought I was gonna be the biggest rapper, right? You couldn't tell me nothing. You understand what I'm saying? That didn't work out, and I fell into, thanks to God, a career path as a bill collector. A lot of people don't look at that as a career or a good job, but you could definitely put your kids through college as a bill collector if you get with the right companies, right? And then started doing that at 18 years old. I tell people that my son saved my life at 18 years old, because to be honest with you, I was on that same path where I was following a lot of people, and the people who I was following, they was just jumping off of cliffs. You understand what I'm saying? And I was right in line to jump off a cliff. I just so happened to not get hit with a bullet that big that you had, and I ended up going to the county for 6 days, and that changed my life. And I was like, nah, I can't breathe in here. Right? So I was completely done with that lifestyle. I told the judge, you would never see me again. Those guys that I was with, they would never see me again, and I'm out of here, right? And from that day forward, my son saved my life. I had to make sure I got to him every night because if not, then I was going to end up back into those situations. So fast forward, wholesaling, right? My brother-in-law is a real estate agent, and he calls me up. He's starting this real estate company, and he calls me up. He says, yo, Law, I hear you talking this talk in regards to what you do as a bill collector. You have this thing where you can get people on the phone, and you don't have a problem with just calling these people? And I'm like, no, this is what I do. I make good money doing it. He says, listen, there's a guy coming in town who goes by the name of Max Maxwell, and he's a good friend of my brother-in-law's. All I want you to do is just come hear the brother speak, and we'll go from there. I said, look, man, I don't have a haircut. My beard is all out of whack. I'm not trying to hear that, right? So he's like, no, listen, man, dinner on me, drinks on me, and I'm driving. I said, listen, say no more. Come and get me, right? So,
thank God for friends like that, huh?
Look, brother-in-law, right? So we get to the scene, and we at the Braves Stadium. This is a pop-up that Max is doing. So 100 people is out there. I kid you not, right? And I'm looking like, damn, who the hell is this dude that could get on live and say, yo, I'm going to be here at this time, and 100 people show up, and he's not even from this town, right? This is my mindset, right? So I'm listening, and they asking real estate questions. I'm thinking about the beer, the pizza, and the ride back home. I'm not even listening to what they're talking about.
Yeah,
my brother-in-law asked this question, Byron. What's the difference between a real estate agent and a wholesaler? Now, keep in mind, Max and my brother-in-law, they know each other, right? But my brother-in-law at this point is really trying to prove a point to himself that a real estate agent could do way better than a wholesaler, right? This is what I'm thinking, right? So Max says, how much house do you have to sell to make a $10,000 profit check? So my brother-in-law said 400,000. He knew his number, right? So I'm listening. Okay, 400,000, right? So Max turned around and he says, what if I told you I could sell a $10,000 piece of property and make a $10,000 profit?
Exactly.
Yo, everybody had their hands up like this, right? I said, how? I was standing behind him. I said, how? He turned around and he said, I do this thing called cold calling. I get him on the phone, this, that, and the third. He breaks down, and next thing you know, I'm out the door with it, right? Because I'm like, yo, this is up my alley. I'm making money for a collection agency. Why can't I do it for myself? Speak a little bit on how you were introduced to wholesaling.
So I was initially introduced to wholesaling through I joined this organization called the Big Dogs down here in Texas. You know, I spent like $20,000 to join this organization.
Big money.
Big money. But I was travel nursing at that time. I had money, man. I saved up some big money, real talk. So I joined this little organization and learned how to do flipping, because I thought I was gonna do flipping and then buying holes. That's all I wanted to do. And I ended up learning a little bit more about wholesaling. I was like, damn, like if I wholesale, I could get to this goal a whole lot faster, because I can find the properties, right? I could rehab the properties myself, and I can hold on to the properties myself. And then I started peeping like, wait a minute, I can just straight wholesale them.
Right.
And just build up income, right? And then just little by little. So, and wholesaling just slowly became more and more, it took more and more to the front stage, because it was like, yo, like I can really, really run this up. And then, you know, it got to the point where I was making anywhere from maybe like $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month by myself. Right?
Wow.
But I was going crazy, because like I couldn't, like, I ain't had no time to do anything other than that.
Right.
So my mind immediately started thinking, how can I scale this? How can I do more, right? How can I do more, but at the same time, not work this damn much? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it was crazy.
Right.
And that's what really, really, really got me to the point to where now, you know, we do 6 figures, you know, in a month. You know what I mean? We probably do like 126 this month. You know what I mean? We did like, we just this week, we got like 85 in assignments. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's bring the people up to speed who may not know what wholesaling is. Give your definition of what a wholesaler is, Byron.
So my definition of a wholesaler in my mind, and matter of fact, Brian and I just left an appointment with a seller, where she gave a testimonial for us, man. She was hyped about giving us this testimonial, because we solved her problem, man. Like, man, it's a beautiful deal. Where
hold on, when you say Brian, we talking about house buying Brian?
Yeah, house buying Brian.
Shout out to house buying Brian.
No doubt. Yeah, he just stepped out the car. I think he went to go get something to eat or something. I don't know. But the deal is, we ended up we not only were we able to get an SBA lien reduced all the way down to almost nothing. We got rid of a Tupperware lien. The family hated each other, right? The kids hated the stepmom because they felt like the stepmom had took the dad away from her and all this old crazy stuff, right? And we were able to get this deal closed on a deal that was red tag, getting ready to go into demolition, right? So, and we made about 18 grand on this deal.
Wow.
Right? And we solved all kind of problems. This lady was extremely grateful, man, and I can't wait to show you exactly what the testimonial comes out as, because it's like she gave us 10 out of 10. Right? Wow. And we made money on the deal, and she didn't even really make money on the deal. Her kids made a little money, right? But just being able to get that SBA loan off of credit, right? Being able to get this house behind her, being able to bring those parties together to, to get this deal done, it was amazing. But to answer that question, wholesaling is, to me, ultimately is problem solving, right? Secondly, it is being a middleman between a seller who is stuck and who cannot move forward on a deal for whatever reason that may be, and connecting them to an end buyer who wants to invest in that property and make some money, or sometimes even live in that property, because now we're wholesaling to even to end buyers now. We're bypassing the investor and going straight. We had a VA loan close last week or so, right? We had another conventional loan close last week or so. So we're skipping past everybody and doing creative wholesaling that nobody's even heard of yet. So we're gonna be doing some more education on just that, because it ain't even, you've never heard of doing deals like the way we're doing deals now.
Wow.
Never heard of it.
Wow. I see in the comments somebody said you and Brian are beast, the best I know at creative financing.
Yeah, we doing creative wholesaling now. So
wow,
that's something completely new. You know what I mean?
I love it. Now, marketing plays a huge part in this business, right?
No doubt.
When I first ran across your brand, and this was about, I want to say about a year, probably a year ago, when I looked in the notes, and I don't know if you remember, but I first reached out to you in the DMs on a deal that I was trying to work, and you was like, look, bro, I've been at this a year at that time, and you was like, just stay at it. Just stay at it. Just stay at it. Figure out your market. But what I liked about you the most was how your marketing strategy was on camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, marketing plays a huge part in this business. When I ran across your brand, you were wearing a light blue polo that read, yes, "Nurses buys houses." Is that what it read?
That's exactly what it read. That's exactly.
And that resembled a professional scrub. Walk me through that process behind that marketing strategy, and how did that work for you?
So what I realized, right? What I realized real quick after I would go on a couple of appointments is that people like people who are normal people, right? People want to do business with people that they like, know, and trust. And so what I did was I would go out on appointments in scrubs, like in nursing scrubs with my badge on, you know what I mean? And then and I would relate to people so easy because they would be like, yo, like this dude is a regular dude looking to buy my house. He's not some big time investor. You know what I mean? Now we don't even call our acquisitions managers. We call them purchase managers. You get what I'm saying? Because we don't even try to come off as investors anymore. We don't even do that. We just look at it more so like we're just, local people looking to just buy some houses, solve some problems. You know what I'm saying? Look out for people, give people good advice, right? If we can't even buy your house, we're going to teach you the best way to sell your house. And that's our approach. We try to lead with value first, right? We try to lead with value, and it works. And so for me, I would go out in my scrubs. I would go out as a regular guy, and I would connect with people. They'd ask me questions about nursing. I'd ask them questions about hunting. I'd ask them questions about their job and what they did, their kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we would talk maybe about 90% about them and about 3% about doing the deal. And I would walk out with contracts in my hand like magic. You get what I'm saying? Because it was not about the house. It was about putting the people first. You get what I'm saying? And I think those skills I kind of learned even in the nursing profession. I would put people first, and every time I would put them people first, they would have let me get whatever I wanted. You understand what I'm saying? But putting people first is everything in this business. It's everything.
I love it, and believe me when I tell you that when I saw that, there was nobody else that I saw doing or marketing it the way you were marketing it. I remember seeing House Buying Brian out in his, I think he was like some rig.
Refinery,
these big old
Exxon Mobil.
Right, this big old uniform. And in my mind, I used to think, yo, this guy's never going to get a deal. But he was closing on them. I need to button up and put a tie on. That was the mindset. But then when I started watching him and yourself, I'm like, yo, these guys are doing something that nobody else is doing, and it's working for them. Because you guys, both of you guys aren't the type to brag on the dollar amounts of the checks, but you guys were actually closing deals, like,
no doubt.
And it blew my mind. So I took that into consideration, and that's just what I started to do. If I was leaving the collection agency and I had my little badge on, that's what I had on my side. And people would be looking at me like, you know what do you do? Well, I'm a bill collector outside, but I happen to be driving down your block and notice that this house had been sitting here, and me and my wife be looking into boom. And then this is how the conversation started. She don't even really know that I'm in this house right now talking to you, but I want to be able to bring it to her to let her know that this is a solid deal and we want to buy your house. And that started to work for me. I put 4 deals under contract. None of them ever made it to the closing table per se. I made a couple of dollars on giving some deals away to some regular real estate agents, but following you guys' leads, as far as what you guys were doing, work. You put a post up. You said, don't miss the moment searching for perfection. Speak a little bit about on that.
Oh man, you know, and this is something that I personally suffer with, right? I personally suffer with it, and that's the reason why it resonated so heavy with me. Because sometimes, you know, we go into situations wanting everything to be worked out, right? Wanting to know all of the information, wanting to have everything figured out, right? And a lot of times we miss the opportunity. We miss the opportunity trying to search for perfection. We go into the seller's appointment. We want to make sure we got everything perfect. Make sure we can't we say everything right. It ain't even about that. It's not even about that. Matter of fact, my best deals would be when I just rarely even talked about the dang on property. I rarely talked about the property. I would talk about the people, and that just goes to show that anytime you searching for too much perfection, it's like a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, you already lost, because nothing is ever going to be perfect. Because even after it's perfect, you're going to still find something to criticize about it. So I say, get out, take massive action. Don't go out trying to be perfect or being fake. You know what I'm saying? Just be real, be you. You know what I'm saying? And people like people, man. People like real people.
Right.
And if you real,
right,
people gonna connect, you know? And you not perfect. Nobody perfect. They not perfect.
Right. I love it. I heard you say one time that, and you pretty much saying it today, that fixing problems with speed and convenience sells quickly and sell quickly with integrity. How wholesalers are problem solvers. Speak a little bit on that when you say that wholesalers are problem solvers.
No doubt. So that's the thing. I think a lot of times when we wholesaling, we see everybody flashing big checks, right?
Right.
So immediately our mind goes to, how can I make money, right? You go immediately, how can I get them to do what I need them to do for me, right? And I think that it in itself becomes a flaw, because immediately you going in thirsty, right? Because it's all about you, right? You're not adding no value. You're not looking to solve no problems. You're not looking to help somebody, right? Now, if you think about Chick-fil-A, right? When you go to Chick-fil-A, what is Chick-fil-A? When you go, the first thing you're going to notice is that they're going to put you first. They're going to make you feel the ultimate level of respect before you buy anything. You ain't bought nothing. Right? They're gonna treat you with the ultimate level of respect. Now, once you buy something from them, they're gonna tell you thank you. They're gonna put you first.
Right.
And by them putting you first, it's gonna increase your appreciation for the value that they provide to you. And it's gonna make you want to come back over and over. And you're not just coming back for the sandwich. You think you're going back for the sandwich, but you really going back for how they made you feel once you got that sandwich.
Facts.
And so with wholesaling, I lead the same way. I'm going in my mind, whether I get the deal or not, how can I help somebody? How can I get this person from point A to point B? That's my mentality.
Wow.
Whether I do the deal or not. You understand what I'm saying? If I get the deal, that's even more gravy.
Right. I heard you say more money, more problems. No, more solutions, more money. Speak on that's pretty much what we talk about now. I had to throw that at you, but speak a little bit on that. When you say more solutions, more money, what are we talking about?
Man, we talking about solving problems. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of people run from difficult situations, right? Like that same deal that we just closed for that lady that she just begged us to do a testimonial for.
Right.
Like literally, most wholesalers would have ran from that deal, right? Wow. We had another deal with a VA loan on it. Most wholesalers would have been like, this ain't gonna work,
I'm
right?
out, right.
We stuck there. We put our minds together and we figured it out. And when we figured it out, that end seller, right? Because again, we put their concerns first, right? They appreciated it because we solved their problems and we got a massive payday. You know what I'm saying? A massive payday. We made 20 grand on just that one deal.
I love it, bro. I love it. Just speaking to you right now is just giving me the goosebumps. I done drove and seen, you know, for sale by owner signs since COVID started, just popping up right here in my backyard. And when I started doing my research on you, I said, it don't hurt to just go out there and try to see if I can get a deal. You know what I mean? Because I put 4 houses in the contract. All I got to do is just go out there and solve a problem, right? At the end of the day, and put money in their pocket, and whatever I get out of it, I get out of it. But I'm not looking for the big payday. That was never my goal. It was always to bring something to the seller and walk away with something. So, man, I had a situation one time where this old lady strung me along for like 4 months, but she had to understand who I was.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She would call me at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10. You know, can you go over there and check on the house and this, that, and the third? And she finally ended up going with somebody else because they offered her more money. But once she realized that they were wholesaling and that I was explaining to her that I was a wholesaler, she was blown that the skin complexion would not tell her that they were wholesaling, and they actually wholesaled the deal, and I was just straight up honest with her out the gate. So I love it. I always hear you say we locked down the deal, we just closed. We plays a huge part in your conversation. Speak on how big teamwork is in the business that you do with wholesaling.
It's everything, you know what I mean? Like right now we got 8 full-time employees, right? And even more, you know, auxiliary, you know, employees, you know what I mean? So for us, teamwork is everything. And now, you know, I'll be honest with you. A lot of the deals that we close, I've never seen.
Wow.
Listen to me. I don't even leave my house sometimes and deals are closing. Whew. Right now, we closed 2 deals today. I can't tell you what the seller looked like. I can't tell you what the property looked like. I can't tell you what the buyer looked like. I can't tell you, honestly, on some real shit, if I just wasn't just a beast on KPIs, I wouldn't even know how much to sit in the bank account.
No way.
I promise.
So let me ask you this question. And this is just for the people who may not know what wholesaling is in its entirety. For you to say, I don't know what the seller is, I don't know what the property looked like. I'm pretty sure you didn't even go sit in a room at the closing table. It was just boom and boom, right in your account. How are you doing these type of deals where you're not even walking into these properties?
Because we have set up a virtual wholesale company that runs off KPIs and certain metrics, right? And our systems have gotten stronger and stronger and stronger to the point to where now, literally, this is no gas. Like, we could close 10 deals, 12 deals this month. I won't see none of them. Wow. I won't know about any of them. Only thing I'm gonna know is about the KPIs and metrics, and that takes me about maybe an hour. You know, we meet about an hour. I look at the KPIs and I make sure everything is on point. And after that, literally, I could go back to sleep and those deals will still come in like clockwork.
So you're making money wholesaling while you're sleeping is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
Wow. I don't know if you guys are hearing this, but Byron the Investor has a YouTube channel where you guys can actually go to and check his channel out. We've been on here 45 minutes. I got a few more questions. I know you got to go. But listen, one of the things that you shared earlier on in your career was something called $20,000 in 20 days. Yes. First of all, what you need to do is you need to take that same concept, bro, and put that into an ebook, and you need to just pound that out on the side, because that's what I learned the game by watching Max, but then I came and I related to how you would do this 15,000 in 15 days and 20,000 in 20 days. Where did you come up with this concept to give this game away for free, bro?
I feel like it's my duty.
Wow.
Listen, it's guilt, right? Because you gotta understand where I come from. I come from the gutter. You feel me? So like when you come from the gutter and you the only one that's doing, like, bro, like what I look like with, you know what I'm saying, doing $100 grand in a month, right? And the people that I grew up around, You understand what I'm saying? To me,
Yeah.
it's like I feel sick, right? I feel sick if I'm doing so great, right, and I'm not doing nothing to share to my people. Like,
Right.
bro, so for me, I can't help it.
Right.
Even if I tried, I can't make this kind of bread, see these kind of opportunities, and not share that, bro. That's a sin. To me, that's a sin. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
I love it. 20,000. So what you saying is that in the wholesaling realm, you can actually make 20,000 in 20 days.
Oh, bro, easy. That's easy work. Easy
Wow.
work, bro. All you have to do, bro. This is the thing. I think it's a couple different approaches. Figure out how you can help somebody, right?
Right.
Figure out how you can help somebody, and go do that. You know what I'm saying? With your marketing, target those people that need the help, right? Don't talk too much. You don't want to talk too much. You don't have to be open, super transparent, because at the end of the day, if you putting them first, you're going to be listening maybe about 90% of the time anyway. Right. So you want to listen to them and figure out ways that you can help them get them from point A to point B. And once you figure that out, once you figure that out, you do the same thing, and then you just reverse engineer, right? You take it to your buyer, you close, then you reverse engineer. How did I do that deal? A lot of people don't look at their successes. They don't say, how did I get this accomplished, right? And once you find that out and you track it, right, with your key performance indicators, somebody asks about KPIs. That's why I'm super big on KPIs. Our whole business runs 100% on KPIs, 100%. And we're not tracking the basic stuff. We're tracking stuff that is very detailed, because we work virtually. Everybody work. We don't have a centralized office. So I literally look at numbers and graphs and metrics to judge whether or not we're successful or we're failing. Period.
I love it. It's funny that you say that, the thought process of it being a sin by not sharing. I don't know if you know who this guy is. I'm pretty sure you do, but I heard Wall Street Trapper, who's big on stocks, right? I heard him say that in an interview that he would never tell a hustler to get a regular job, because if he could just teach them the game of stocks, right, he could show them how to maneuver his money. So he learned the game, and watching this guy, he is just giving out all of this valuable information, and you guys resonate. Like you said, real recognize real. Yeah, even if the person might not be real, right? And they might be, but the hustle that they have in them is real. You can't. T.I. said it. You might hate me, but you will respect the hustle. You understand what I'm saying? So you know how people, I heard you say this in a conversation that people say, "Oh, you negative, stay over there." Oh, no. I need to know what you know. I need to know what you know, because you got something in you that I don't have. You understand what I'm saying? And then once we figure out what we doing, like, you're not about to be over here smoking weed all day at on my porch. You see what I'm saying? Now we can sit here, we can have a conversation, drink a beer, and eat a sandwich and talk business. I'm with that, because you got something that I don't have, and I have something that you don't have. And let's share this with each other. And that's what this whole Cashing in Dreams podcast is about. So you saying that, look, this is a blessing. But look, you said that team is big, 8 employees. You and house buying Byron right now is out closing deals, getting testimonials. I love it. If you could rob a cemetery for a piece of greatness, who would you rob, and what would you take from that person?
Oh, that's deep. You know what? Oh, a cemetery, man. You know what? I'm going to find out. Honestly, I want to know what Rockefeller was thinking.
Woo,
right?
Woo.
I want to know what Rockefeller was thinking. I want to know what J.P. Morgan was thinking, right? I want to know who is that? Who is that? I will pull up MLK. You feel me? I'm pulling up MLK. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm pulling up Marcus Garvey.
Woo.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk that talk.
You feel me? Because I want to know what the mindset is. Like, so for me now, when I talk to people, you know what I mean? Like, matter of fact, I was talking to Max the other day, and I was just like, yo, like, a lot of times when people hit you up, they want to ask you, what do you do? How do you do that? How do you do that?
Right.
I be wanting to know what you thinking. Like,
right.
What's your thought process that guides you to do this and do that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
a lot of times that be the most important. But I want to give some shout outs here, man. I see my people O'Neal on here.
Okay.
Rehabbing the Hills. What's good?
Shout out.
But yeah,
shout
man.
Shout out
Napoleon Hill. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That definitely is. Someone said that's a scary grave to rob. Listen, he got the shovel. He digging them up. he digging them up. We got 4 questions in the box. Let me see what we got. Let's see what we got. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the box. Let me see here. What would you say are the top 5 most lucrative markets for wholesaling?
Oh, the top 5 markets. Honestly, I think my market is a top market. You know, all of the surrounding areas of Houston. I wouldn't say Houston itself. I think it's super competitive in Houston, and people have kind of like some unrealistic expectations as to how much their properties are worth. But I would say around the areas of Houston, all those little small towns, what we do, you know, I'm gonna give some real game. We find the top zip codes, right, where all of the cash transactions are taking place, right? And this works anywhere. This, like, right now, we market strictly to the areas where cash buyers buy properties. And a lot of people, when they market everywhere, right? So we've gotten so good at our metrics and our analytics that we are laser sharp. We don't waste any money on places where people don't buy properties cash, right? So if you can find that out, right? So I see a lot of people say wholesaling don't work for them. It do work. What happens is you'll spend money in places where you probably never close a wholesale deal.
Right.
Or your marketplaces where the sellers, even if they were to give you the house, right? The deal wouldn't necessarily work because that's just not a high wholesale area. So you got to find out where those areas are, right?
Right.
If you want to be immediately successful, if you want to do 10, 20 deals a month, you want to find those areas. Then you want to find out, you know, the marketing strategies that are going to convert for you, not for me, right? Because that's another thing. Don't get hype on the stuff that I'm using that work for me, because what works for me, that may not work for you. You got to find the stuff that works for you. You know what I'm saying?
Love it. Love it. I'm going to pull up one more question from her. She says, in these times that we are in right now, do you think it's still a good idea to jump into wholesaling?
I think it's a great time to jump into wholesaling. Matter of fact, I think it's probably the best time to jump into wholesaling right now, because let me explain something to you. By first quarter next year, millionaires on top of millionaires are going to be made. I'm not telling you what I think, right? I'm telling you based on just facts that, listen, moratoriums are going to be removed, right? Evictions are going to be at an all-time high. Foreclosures are going to be at an all-time high. This is not my opinion, right? This is just based on data, and it's going to be one of the largest wealth transfers to take place ever. Wow. So if you're in wholesaling right now, it's probably the absolute best time to get in.
I love it. I love it. Someone said, I've got a deal under contract. How do you guys market to home buyers versus investors?
So we heavy we do MLS. We do some MLS invest. You know, we pop them joints on the MLS when possible. Dispo manager is a realtor, so we got access to that. And also, but that's an advanced strategy. You can get yourself caught up too. So I don't want to just tell people just go out there and just do that and think it's just gonna be gravy. Because you really have to be careful. You really have to set up your systems to real good to be able to do that. Also, you know, our buyers and our network are just growing, right? It's just growing. So by proxy of just doing so much deals, being out here in social media, we attract a lot more buyers, sellers, everything.
I love it. I love it. Listen, we got 4 more minutes. I'm not gonna hold him over the hour. He's with House Buying Brian. They trying to celebrate this deal that they just got. What's going on, House Buying? How you doing, bro? Listen, I see you still got the beard. I see you, as long as you got the beard, you doing good, bro.
Yeah, it's growing, bro. It's growing.
I know. I remember when you left
it don't
the
look
gig.
as yours, though.
Look, I remember when you left the job and you left the thing wolf.
That thing nice. It don't look like yours.
Listen, appreciate it. Listen, my last question for you, Byron, is when you hear the quote, create your own foundation or forever live on a plantation, what are your thoughts on that, bro?
That's a powerful statement. I love it. You know, I'm all about creating my own destiny and creating my own lane, because at the end of the day, when you create your own, can't nobody kick you off. You know what I'm saying? So for me, having that ultimate flexibility, that ultimate freedom is everything for me. That's everything for me. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, like I trade it all just for my freedom.
I love
it. Straight up.
I love it. Listen, guys, you guys heard all of this information right here on the Cashing in Dreams podcast. I could have dug deep and just went straight into wholesaling, but I wanted to give you guys this brother's past and to show you what he's doing now. You guys heard it. At 28 years old, he was heading down the wrong path, but God turned him around and put him on the path of creating his own foundation. And that's what he did. And he got off of whoever's plantation, just like his partner sitting right beside him, and they killing it. They look just like me and you. You guys can go follow him, House Buying Brian and Byron the Investor. Listen, bro, I appreciate you. Go ahead and celebrate your win tonight, and I can't wait to hear that testimonial from the lady who you guys spoke to today. Listen, if Brian wants me to tell him what I put in my beard, tell him to holler at me.
Tell him how I look right now.
Tell him to holler at me, and I'll give him the game offline.
Offline. No doubt.
It was a pleasure, bro. Thank you, man.
Same here, bro.
Have a good one.